Hey guys, and welcome to Articulate Thursday. My name is Nabil Rahman, the mild mannered community development specialist. Hope you guys are doing well. As you can tell, my partner in crime, Tanya, is not able to be with us here today, but that's okay because we're going to have lots of fun. Because I don't know if you can tell, but I'm actually in the city of love, virtually speaking, of course. That's just Paris right behind me. And the reason why I'm in Paris virtually is obviously because we're going to talk today about love. We're bringing back the poetry edition by popular demand. You guys enjoyed it so much, so we're bringing it back for you guys, but with a little bit of a twist because, as you can tell, today's episode is called Love Match. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go through some poetry about love, and we're going to try to match images, pictures, artwork to that poetry. We're going to give you guys a couple of options, and we want you guys to comment below as to which image matches best with the poetry that we're going to talk about. And really, what better thing is there to talk about than love? What better thing is there to write about than love? And what better thing is there to be creative about than love? We need more of love, whether we're seeking love, whether we're in love, or whether we are heartbroken because of love. Love is what makes us human, and love is what's going to help us be together and carry on. So, without further ado, guys, let's start off this show by our very first poetry. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so I really love this poem because this is where it all begins, isn't it? This poem is called Puberty Love Poem. Now, all of us have had our first love, not, sometime in or around when we were going through the transition to our adulthood, let's say. So this is a quirky poem. I really want to read it. It's by Mick Jones. So stay with me, guys, as we read it together. I hope you enjoy it because I think this is a blast of a poetry. So here we go. Last year, I thought you were icky as I ate my glue. But this year, I can see that I have greatly misjudged you. Your retainer gleams with moonlight beams when you smile in my direction. I can see through greasy hair that we have a connection. My armpit hair is growing just as fast as our romance. I'm now like 5'5", and I think I have a chance. There's something about my love for you that others just don't get. The things I like about you are as many as my zits. I have not seen you for a while, and I hope you're doing well because I think my armpits have a very lonely smell. I, if I were left without you, I would have a heart attack. So let me serenade you with this song from Nickelback. You want to play Diablo with me? I hope you don't mind. I think you would be purple. You're a legendary find. I want to see your visage more than any other faces, 'cause like my Warcraft droid, you have charmed me with your graces. You're beautiful. You're wonderful. You make my heart go boom, just like the can of axe I unleashed upon this room. I know you will love me, and I know it will be neat because just like my shampoo label says, rinse, attract, repeat. Though I may be awkward, this poem may be weird, and my good side may be tough to see through my patchy beard. My mind is going crazy, but one thing is true. My random hormones have paired me with you. That's awesome. I love it. I can relate to it. Growing up as a teenager, these all things are real. What did you guys think, guys? Feel free to comment below. An absolutely fantastic, humorous poem by Mick Jones. So I hope you guys enjoyed that because it is quite relatable. So let's go to the image. What image do you think suits best with this poem? So we have two options here. We have option one. If you guys can see, if you're a fan of Stranger Things, you see 11 there dancing. I think this was one of the very last episodes of the show. And image two, you can see it's beautiful young well, a young girl, and just waiting in the backdrop, you see a teenager who might have actually written this poem about her. You can see the way he's looking at her. The distance kind of tells you that he likes her, but he doesn't know how close he can get to her. That awkward moment, it's kind of special. So, what image do you think matches best with the poem? Please let us know in the comments below. Or if you think there's another image, that would be fantastic. Feel free to share that as well. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's move on to the next poem. So this poem is called A Love Song for Lucinda by Langston Hughes. Love is a ripe plum growing on a purple tree. Taste it once, and its spells of its enchantment will never let you be. Love is a bright star glowing in far southern skies. Look too hard, and its burning flames will always hurt your eyes. Love is a high mountain, stark in a windy sky. If you would never lose your breath, don't climb too high. Once again, A Love Song for Lucinda by Langston Hughes. Tell me what you guys thought about that poem. What do you guys think about this poem? I think this is fantastic. It's got so much imagery with nature, and so the image that you might want to associate with it will be interesting. And you can see the progression of love. Right, we started with young love, love about as we've all been relatable to that experiences. Here we see something a little bit more mature, something that's a little bit more reflective. This poem seems like somebody who's already been in love is sort of sharing their experience about love, whereas the first poem was definitely somebody who is very much in love at the moment or is infatuated, has a crush, so to speak. So, what do you guys think about the imagery as it just showed up in your minds, right? Because there's tons of things that you could take from. What I really like about this poem is the very last line is if you would never lose your breath, do not climb too high. Sometimes love is about taking chances. Sometimes love is about following your instincts. And you know what? Sometimes you might lose your breath, right? Sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want things to. But if you truly want to experience love, you got to take that plunge. You got to be willing to lose your breath just for a little bit. And we all know that it's always going to be worth it. You miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. So let's see what image connects most with you guys. I have two images here. The poetry itself had lots of imagery about nature. So the first image is just a tree that's shaped like a flower in, in an open grass field. Let me know if you guys think that is an appropriate imagery for it to be attached to this poem. Image two, we have something very similar. We have something in nature. This could be a mountain. This could be a cave. You can see the rainbow and you can see the heart shape there because, life is all about taking the chances, being ourselves, and also connecting with nature because that's one of the best ways that we can find out more about ourselves. And as you can tell, nature has so many metaphors for us to use when it comes to what love is, because we can fall in love with nature just like we can fall in love with the ones that we love. So let me know what you guys think. If you have another image that came to your mind when you read that or heard that poetry, please feel free to share in our comments or connect with us or email those to us at public.art@oakville.ca. All right, let's go on to the next one. This is a haiku, guys. I'm a big fan of haiku. This is just entitled Poem by J.S. Parker. And here we go. So this is the poem. I want for all the time to fill the spaces between your fingers with mine. What do you guys think about that? Short and sweet, but so powerful, right? Um, when I read this, my immediate reflections rather was this is somebody who wrote this who has loved for a long time, right? That the process of just holding hands, for example, is so meaningful, and I think that sometimes only comes through experiencing love for a long period of time where that, that simple action of just holding someone's hand can be so much more, can represent so much more for that individual. So it's short and sweet. So tell me what you guys think about that poem, and also what images come to your mind. So we have two images here. For me, image one is, it looks like there's a couple that's been together for a while, and they're holding hands. You can see there's no space between the fingers, so to speak. But that's love, right? That's love that people grow old, but the love doesn't, right? Love stays young. And then on the image two, you have what I would classify as young love, or love that's in somebody's as in their youth, right? And still young. So let me know which for you connects more with the poetry that we just shared. All right, guys, let's go on to the next one. Now, unfortunately, one of the things with love is that sometimes our hearts get broken, and it's an icky feeling, and it can leave a very sour taste in our mouths. But you know what? That is all part of love. You have to be willing to take a chance to experience love. Sometimes heartbreak kind of comes along with it. So this is a poem by Jill Alexander, and I apologize if I'm butchering the last name, Esbaum. And so this is a poem by Jill. So here we go. A clementine of inclement climate grows tart. A crocus too stoic to open won't. Like an oyster that cloisters a spoils of pearl untouched, the heart that's had enough stays shut. Yeah, who can relate, guys? Who can relate to this poem, to this heartbreak? We've all been there. And I love, again, the imagery that's sort of connected to nature, to oysters and to the land, and just sort of speaking to, sometimes when we have our heart broken, sometimes we have to go through that experience. Sometimes we shut ourselves in, right? We don't want to expose ourselves to the potential of feeling vulnerable again, right? Because being in love and loving somebody else is a true sign of vulnerability. And sometimes when our hearts are broken, we might not be willing to do that. But short and sweet and to the point, and very, very reflective and relatable. So tell me, guys, did you guys relate to this? Has this ever happened to you, per se? And again, what's the imagery that comes to mind when you guys see it? So I have two images here, again, because they use so much imagery with nature. You have a heart-shaped tree, not necessarily heart-shaped tree. Somebody obviously cut it out, and that sort of goes to the poem. Or image number two, where the heart literally just zips up and is shut down. So let me know what you guys think. Again, if you guys have another image that related more to you for that poem, please email us at public.art@oakville.ca. So guys, those are some of the poems that we wanted to share with you guys. I have one more poem, or rather a spoken word, because I think the spectrum of poetry, the spectrum of artistic expression through this type of medium, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I love spoken word, and this is a very special spoken word where it's called "If You Fall in Love with Me, Don't," and it's by Luna Poems. All the poems that I'm sharing with you guys, I'm going to put a link in the description and in the comments, so you guys can go ahead and search it and read it, and the tons of other poetry that is on those platforms. So guys, here we go. Here is "If You Fall in Love with Me, Don't."
If you fall in love with me, don't. This isn't some cliche poem about my childhood suffering from the lack of a male role model, because that would be a terrible lie. And my dad raised a daughter with a guilty conscience, not a liar. Anyways, I'm here to warn you about what you might be getting yourself into. I smile by habit, not by choice. I giggle out of empathy and humor, or embarrassment, but never to purposefully spite. I get jealous when I see that someone can provide for other people in a way that I can't, but That's because I'm a people pleaser, and us people pleasers, we just want to give. And I go through phases just like the moon, but I always complete my lunar cycle and return to my bright self again. And you should probably know that I'm emotional, like, really emotional. In fact, I may even think I have you fooled about how I'm feeling, but because my dad didn't raise a liar, I am forced to unintentionally wear my big sobby heart on my sleeve. Oh, and I'll let something slide 1,016 times, but after that, I don't give second chances. I'm also an incredibly all-or-nothing person to a fault. But when I'm invested in something, I'd rather lose everything good I have before I even consider declaring bankruptcy. But remember, there's two sides to every coin, so if you fall in love with me, don't. Because in every lunar cycle, the moon disappears for a while, and it has a dark side too. And I said I was a people pleaser, and us people pleasers, we pour. In fact, I will keep filling and filling your glass until it's overflowing and my pitcher has gone empty, because to see you hydrated is all I could ever want in this world. Until I realize it's left me drained. When I'm drained, I'll get frustrated, and sometimes I'll go into hiding. I'll either take a solo hike or get in my car and drive just to get my distance, peace, and alone time, but don't you worry, because I'll eventually turn around and come home again. Oh, and I'm obsessed with galaxies and stars, but it depresses me to know these things will either get swallowed by a selfishly hungry black hole or explode and die in a supernova or whatever. But that's besides the point. The point is, I'm a tangled mess of contradictory things, but I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to warn and protect you, and to properly love you, and to tell you not to worry about a thing. Because remember, I am an all-or-nothing person, so if I fall in love, I am all in for you, and that if you somehow fall in love with me, don't. Because I won't be limited to loving you, but I'll be head over heels for your smile, your giggle, the face you make when you're embarrassed, and the look in your eyes when I know you're jealous. I'll fall in love with the way you endlessly try to please people and how it drives you crazy that it's never enough, or how you selfishly pour your pitcher to hydrate someone despite the fact you're parched. I'll fall in love with your phases, both dark and bright, and how sometimes you might go into hiding when you're frustrated. I'll fall in love with how you pretend you're not emotional despite the fact your feelings are trying so hard to escape your eyes, and that special way you recharge yourself when you feel drained. I'll even love your heart after you've given your last second chance to someone for the 1,016th time, because I know you're a tangled mess of contradictory things. So please don't just fall in love with me, because I'm not gonna fall in love with just you. You're too complex and complicated for it to be that simple, and so all I ask is that if you fall in love with me, you'll fall in love with my infinite complexities too.
All right, guys, what did you think about that? I thought it was fascinatingly entertaining, reflective, and completely vulnerable. The poem or the spoken word is sort of sharing the vulnerabilities of being in love, and how loving someone is loving someone holistically, not just things about them that are manifest, right? There's so many things about us internally that are hidden or latent, our insecurities or vulnerabilities. And to love someone truly, you have to love all of them, the good and the bad. And I just love how candid this spoken word is. And it also speaks to this idea that wanting to love someone else requires you to be reflective about who it is that you are, and your own inner expectations of you, and also what love for you is, right? So part of love is also being self-aware. And so there's no image connected to this because the image is on YouTube. You guys can go ahead and check it out. But let me know what you thought of that poem, guys. And that brings us to the conclusion of yet another Articulate Thursdays. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We are thrilled to be switching things up. If you really liked the matching the imagery and the artwork or the pictures to the poems, and you wanted some of those things to continue, let us know in the comments below or hit us up at public.art@oakville.ca. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This is Articulate Thursday. Stay safe, Oakville. Take care.